Hey guys, what is up? Ni hao from Shanghai. I just arrived here and it's a foggy day as you can see. And that only means trying out some nice warming Chinese food, right? So let's go and see what's in store for us. So the first restaurant that I went to, it's called Vegetarian Lifestyle, but it's also called the Jujube Tree. I guess one of them was like the old name. And according to some, this is like the best vegetarian restaurant here in Shanghai. And in China, when you enter a restaurant, you get this complimentary tea. So that's really nice. And it's served hot, of course. And this tea that I got here at this restaurant, it was almost this mushroomy kind of a tea. It had this mushroom flavor, which was strange but still really nice. And I also like the cozy vibe of this restaurant. So the first thing I tried here is this truffle fried rice, and I also ordered this 3 cups chicken. I had heard of 3 cups chicken only recently, and apparently it has 1 cup of soy sauce, 1 cup of sesame oil, and 1 cup of rice vinegar. So starting with the rice, it was nice and fluffy, which is one of my favorite things in East Asia, the rice always. And here's the chicken, the vegan chicken of course. And you can see some chilies, some sliced chilies, and also spinach. And of course we have to try it together with the rice. Honestly, this was so delicious. I've heard of 3 cups chicken only recently and I never really tried it. Never tried making it myself. But when I tried it here, I was just so blown away. The flavor stood out to me so much, and it easily gets a 5-star for me. And the texture is also good as well, the vegan chicken. Next up, the boiled jiaozi or Chinese dumplings, and it comes with these 2 dips, which is Chinese black vinegar and chili oil. I've always been a big fan of chili oil in my in my gyoza, but I didn't think black vinegar could pair so well with gyoza. It has this lovely sour taste profile, and that just suits the gyoza so much. The gyoza comes in these 3 colors, but it's more of aesthetics. The filling is kind of same for all the gyoza. It has this mushroom and fennel seeds and a lot of other things. I didn't care so much to check what's inside because the taste was so good. I was honestly so impressed, and I didn't expect them to be boiled. I thought they would be steamed. And there's so many other things on the menu, but I had to wrap up here because I was eating alone. So that's it for now. Next up is this cozy place called Lotus Vegan. I really liked how spacious this place felt and also the ambience. So here's the complimentary tea, and it's these subtle flavors of the tea that I really like here in China in all these restaurants. And a nice warming tea is always welcome on a cold day. So the first thing I ordered was orange chicken. So not really a very Chinese dish. It's more of like an American Chinese dish, but it looks so good on the menu, so I thought why not. So the pieces were basically vegan chicken nuggets, and the texture was very much like nuggets, and the sauce was orangey as you expect, but it was a little too sweet in my opinion. Here's the texture, looks just like a nugget. So apart from the overt sweetness, it was actually quite good and I really liked it. Next up is dandan noodles, because we are in China, right? So of course, and the waiter mixes it for you, which is kind of cool. So the first thing I noticed with these is the creamy taste from the sesame paste or the tahini, because it's a common ingredient in dandan, one of the main ingredients. And just look at the quantity of these noodles. I really liked the quantity. I just ate these two things and that was enough to make me full. And here you can see some of the minced meat at the bottom of the plate and also the chili oil. You have to really mix everything up in order to get everything in one bite. The noodles were really long and they are the thin kind of noodles. And yeah, this was a great noodle dish. It's nothing too special, but I really like the quantity. So this place is something I discovered kind of accidentally. It's located near the popular Jing'an temple in Shanghai, and the staff suggested I try this seaweed pastry and it looks really good on the outside. I tried eating it with a chopstick and it wasn't really the best idea. It was kind of messy and flaky because it's puff pastry. Here's the filling inside. It had seaweed and walnuts, sesame seeds, and a lot of other things which I can't recollect. But it was really nice. It was both sweet and savory, and it just somehow works. It really works out. Next up is this mushroom noodle set. It comes with some roasted vegetables with sauce on the side, and these are the noodles with king oyster mushrooms on top. Then you have some sides and you also have iced tea, so it makes for a complete meal. The iced tea was nice and sweet. I thought it wouldn't be that sweet, I thought it would be more sour. So this was a pleasant welcome, pleasant surprise. And these are some sides. So these are soybeans in this kind of chili kind of a sauce. The soybeans were nice and soft. There's not a lot of flavor because you really need to get that chili oil in order to get the flavor. Next up is these green onions, which I guess were soaked in cold water. I really like the way they cut these green onions. It makes for a nice garnish and a nice design. And I also have tried some pickled radish. I really like pickled radish. Here's the roasted vegetables. I think this was roasted squash or roasted pumpkin, and it was really nice. There was a bit of a crisp to it. And just look at these skewers. It's like a king oyster mushroom skewer. I guess these are inspired by the lamb skewers, which are very popular in China. And it was so meaty. And the marinade, it almost tasted kind of like a tandoori or a shawarma kind of a marinade. So that was really surprising. And of course I had to try it with the noodles because just to pair it up and see how they taste together. The seasoning on these noodles was insane. I couldn't tell if it was like an Asian seasoning or an Italian seasoning, but man was this good. I didn't expect it to be so good because it actually looked quite simple. And there we go with the skewers. Damn, that was amazing. These are the king oyster mushrooms with a glaze on top, and they were nice and meaty and a perfect pairing with the noodles. I really like this overall. It was a nice filling meal. So this next place is located right next to the previous place, and it's kind of a part of the Jing'an temple, and hence it's vegetarian because it's like inspired by Buddhist cuisine. So this is the vegan chicken and mushroom noodle soup, and it comes with some sides as well. And the broth, you have to start with the broth first like any other noodle soup dish, and it was a very shiitake mushroom tasting broth. Basically it was a shiitake flavored broth, and that's really nice because it's loaded with umami. These are some bamboo shoots which come with the noodle, nice and chewy. And here we go with the noodles. Once again the thin kind of noodles, and of course the perfect warming dish for a cold day. I really liked pairing the noodles with the broth. The shiitake broth was kind of one dimensional in that it's only really shiitake, but it's still good. And this is the vegan chicken, but turned out it's just tofu with some kind of a marinade to make it taste like chicken. Honestly, it didn't really taste like chicken, but it was still quite good. And these are some stringy mushrooms on the side. These were really meaty, and the flavor, it almost had this Indian spice kind of a taste to it. So that was quite surprising. And they paired well, surprisingly, with the noodles as well and the broth. And this is some cucumber on the side. Next up is this guangchao tofu with Jiangchun chili stir fry. Honestly, I've never heard of guanchao sauce before, but man, was this really delicious. It just coated the tofu and the mushroom so well. I only wish the sauce was a little more sticky so it would cling on to the tofu. And as for the tofu, it was firm tofu, but it had a nice soft bite to it. I only wish it had a bit of a crispy exterior. There wasn't really a lot of sear to it. But other than that, it was really so good. And tofu and mushrooms, what else can you ask for? And some chilies on the side. Overall, a very comforting meal, and I had to make sure I don't waste anything and finish everything.